Do you think that they look like cats? Or do you think
No, I've got a
like
picture of what I think they look, so
versions-
I've got a picture. I'm going to show it.
Versions of themselves. So many people don't even look like themselves anymore.
Some look like E.T. It depends. They look like a feline.
They're kind of morphing into the same, cat.
Similar. There's different ones though. Like there's women that look like grey aliens, like the shape, and they look like E.T. Yeah. Then there's ones that look like a cat. They're the ones that predominantly make the cheeks come out more.
Yeah.
Like they look like cats. And then
all this.
Yeah, but you've also got to remember they are extremes.
Oh yeah.
People doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No tapping.
Just see Steph. Pretty normal.
Oh, okay. Okay,
But he
so.
I never told you last time I saw Steph, did I?
Took it from a young person's perspective.
Look like
hold on. Save that.
Balls
Save
in her
that.
cheeks and she'd been
Camera's
dying.
rolling. Look. Let's introduce. Shall we just introduce her while she's sitting?
Is this running?
It's running the whole
Oh
time.
God, I didn't even realise.
I can't be bothered to keep getting up and running over the. Here's the tissue.
Pocket.
You ready?
Yeah, I think
You ready,
so.
homeboy?
I'm just writing down some notes.
As you can see, we've got somebody with us today. This is Katina, of Venus Inspired. Just happens to be my wife as well. She's what I would call, she wouldn't call herself, but I'd call her an expert in her field.
Okay.
Should we tell them what that field is?
Well, yes, I've been in the beauty industry for almost 40 years and I've seen a lot of new innovations, some good, some not so good. So yeah, that's me.
And you're here today to talk about...
Sorry, I need my laptop because I've made points.
Don't worry about it. You're here today to talk about Botox.
Yeah, it's a subject for me that's really concerning, and I've, obviously it's not just Botox, it's fillers as well, but I think today it will be easier just to focus on Botox, and we can do fillers at another time.
Fine, no problem.
What's the difference between them?
Botox paralyzes a muscle. Fillers is something that's injected in between the skin layers that literally fills spaces. And there are problems associated with both, and this is not about bashing people that have had it done. This is not what this is about. What I would like is to see more transparency in the aesthetic arena so that people can make more informed decisions before they have it done. And it's getting particularly concerning for me because women, girls, people are getting younger and younger. I was having a conversation the other day about somebody's daughter whose friends are 18 and 19 who are wanting to start having baby Botox.
18?
They call it baby Botox?
They call it, yeah. It is just a marketing ploy.
Baby as in because you're young?
No. Small amounts.
Oh, okay.
No, small amounts. And it's that young group that are being targeted as this whole myth, and I'll say it's a myth. It is not true that Botox can prevent the aging process. In fact, it will actually accelerate the aging process, and that for me is a great concern. So yeah.
Right. You need to clarify something for me because my head's cold. I didn't quite get what you meant when you said baby. He said as in young, you said as in
small doses. So they inject units of Botox into the skin, into the muscle, and what they're doing is they're coining that term baby Botox by putting little bits of Botox, which kind of it almost makes it more acceptable for you because it's only a little bit. It's like saying to an addict, oh, here you go, it's just a little bit of your desired drug.
I thought it was referring to them being young people.
No, but having said that, we had a letter a few weeks ago from our local council, Redbridge Council, a very firm letter stating that it was really going to clamp down on injectors that were injecting people under the age of 18. So that's happening. It's happening. People under the age of 18.
What wrinkles have you got at 18?
Well, you don't. But that's the problem. You see, is it's being sold to them as if you do it now, you won't get wrinkles when you get older, and that is just
that's
nonsense.
absurd. It sounds absurd.
It is nonsense. So this is sadly what's going on, and this is why there needs to be more transparency in the industry. And I do believe that the FDA have now been petitioned, so they have to review and ensure that injectors are telling people exactly what the risks are. And the thing, you know, another thing as well is like particularly with Botox, it's just like, well, and filler, I suppose, it's just the pressure that's put on people to have this done, which is really sad as well. It's been so normalised that if you don't have it done, you feel like you're the odd one out, and or maybe I should have it done because my forehead doesn't wrinkle, and I don't look like this
wooden.
Yeah, but they see, they think they people feel that these frozen looks is a youthful look.
It's an alien look. You don't look human, because humans have expressive like emotion. You express so much through your face.
Yeah.
Eyebrow raising, squinting, like forehead this, and you express so much. To have a face that's just stagnant, you might as well talk to a mannequin. Well, something really, really off-putting. What is that word they call? Where something looks human but it's not quite. I'm going to think of it. I'm going to come back to that word. There's a word.
Okay. Yeah.
Something alley. It's all to do with AI and all that. But all these fake images that are supposed to look like people, but it's not a real human. So it looks right, but it looks off to your face. See, there's a word for it, and that's what I think they look like.
Well, you know, you made a really good point about not being able to express your face, and I think that's the beauty of having a conversation with someone, and also being able to read. Like, if you've said something that may not have landed well with someone, you should be able to see if you're upsetting someone. And also, the person who's had the Botox, is that they're not confusing the neurotransmitters, the messages they're sending to their brain, because they physically can't, you know, that's a concern. So then is it kind of making the brain redundant a bit? You know, it's just, you know, and that kind of brings me on to, like, you know, I like to separate Botox and fillers. Okay, we're focusing on Botox into sort of the two camps, in how it can affect your health and how it can affect your facial anatomy. So, you know, Tiwa, you brought up a good point about the toxicity of Botox.
That's one of the only things that I know, because I just know random facts, is that Botox, the actual ingredient, whatever, is one of the most toxic things on the planet. So more toxic than most toxic venom, poison that you can imagine of any creature. It is way more toxic, and you'd need, I can't remember the measurements in that, but I know it's like the most ridiculous amount you would need to wipe out all humans. Yeah,
it is, you're right, absolutely right. Both naturally and synthetically is the most toxic substance.
So exactly, what is Botox?
It's from a bacteria, and what they do when they're making Botox, they kind of like, as my understanding is, they kind of tweak the proteins so it's not as toxic. And the problem here is that when Botox first was about 25, 30 years ago, and I remember someone approaching me about it, and, you know, would I like to learn how to do it? And regulation is another thing we'll get into after. And I was like, you know, I'd read up a little bit about it, what there was, because there wasn't an awful lot of information available. And for me, as a massage practitioner, it didn't make any sense why you would paralyze a muscle, because particularly with the face, because the face, unlike your body, except for this big jaw muscle, the facial muscles are called mimetic muscles, so they allow you, as you said, to express. They're attached directly to your skin. On your body, they're attached to your bone, hence they can move your skeleton around. They're attached to your skin, so they can pull the face around to show people how you're feeling. So they actually form like a really crucial part of the foundation of keeping your skin upright. So for me, as a holistic practitioner, to render a muscle paralysed, you're actually going to atrophy a muscle, which means you're going to shrink it and make it waste away, which then made me think, well, if that's going to happen, then surely that muscle, that weakness of that muscle, and I'll use this term drop because it's the easiest way I can say it anatomically, is that muscle can potentially drop and take, because it's attached to the skin, take the skin with it. And we're seeing lots of evidence of that now, you know, where, you know, women, they can literally pull their skin away from their bone. But back then,
That's
I can't.
brutal.
Yeah, no. I was like, back then I thought this doesn't make any sense to me. So actually, no. Let's see. And I always used to say, let's see 10, 15 years what the outcome is going to be, because back then there were only short-term studies, but now we're getting the long-term studies coming through, and even like neurologists are now starting to take note of what's happening, because they believed that there was the Botox injections that you were having in your face couldn't cross the blood-brain barrier, but recent studies are showing, well, actually they can.
So what does that mean? It starts migrating around your body?
Yeah, but mostly to the brain, because, you know, people mainly have Botox in their faces.
So that's what you mean when you say blood-brain barrier?
Yeah, so it potentially can pass through into the brain, and it affects. They did a study on rats. I do apologise for those who are anti-animal testing, but this for me was really interesting, because they did this study on rats, male rats, and they found that it affected a part of the brain called the hippocampus. And the hippocampus is all about your spatial memory and storing memories. And it's, you know, and they found, when they did the histology on that part of the brain, they found lesions there. So these lesions are associated with things like dementia and Alzheimer's. So, you know, there's this to be concerned about. And it then made me wonder.
Stop, hold on a second. you have to remember you're talking to an
Sorry.
numpty here. When you say lesions, what's a lesion?
Like a little growth
On your brain.
on the brain in this particular part of the brain called the hippocampus. So these little lesions, and these lesions will affect your memory. So, you know, how you form and how you store your memories is being affected by these lesions.
Okay. I've seen something recently. Was a woman. She was sitting at a table. It's a really sad video. She's had the Botox, and something's obviously passed through, because she was almost like dribbling, couldn't walk. Someone had to be there to assist her.
That's another issue. So there were a few things that were pulled from this study, not just these lesions that affected your memory and your storage of memory, which, like I said, is linked to dementia and Alzheimer's. And can I just quickly say, and I would love to know, because the number of women who have dementia and Alzheimer's has actually increased over the past 20 years.
Oh, yeah, I see where you're going.
Which makes me think, oh, I'd love to know if any of those women had been having regular Botox. Just a thought. I'm not saying they did, it's just a thought. So going back to what you asked me, so not only have we got this issue with the lesions in this part of the brain, but we also have an issue where Botox decreases something called acetylcholine. I don't know if you've heard.
Nope.
Acetylcholine. I hope I'm not getting too technical here. I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can. So
I think everyone likes technical details.
Okay. So acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter. So it kind of tells the body kind of like what it should be doing, and acetylcholine is decreased when you have Botox, and that is what sends messages telling your muscles what to do.
So it sounds like dementia. Sort of your brain's not working with the rest of your body, or sending signals that aren't getting received. Yeah,
so you're having problems with not being able to walk, the shakes. I mean, these are extreme cases, but
these are things that are happening now.
Yeah,
because what I'm trying to say is, you have a few injections, nothing. Yeah. A few more down the road, a couple of years later, you start to see the effects. Yeah, so this is, you know, you've hit the nail on the head here. This is the problem. It's about, you have these micro doses, these small doses, regularly every 3 to 4 months is what they say you should do with Botox. And over time, these little amounts, over the years, over the decades, build up, and then could potentially cause these problems. So,
why would they recommend you keep getting a bit? That sounds like a sales ploy. Like,
there you go. In a hit.
Well,
isn't that the reason?
So it sounds like.
Well, it is. I mean, it is a $5 billion
Is that worldwide?
Worldwide, yes. When I last checked, it was $5 billion. I don't know what that is in pounds. So it's massive. So yes, it's a way. I mean, I believe that's how long an injection lasts. That's how long the Botox, the bacteria, actually renders your muscle paralysed. So
so the liquid that's been squirted into your face, whatever it is,
the toxin,
the toxin
that's been injected into the muscle.
Where does that go?
Well, this is it again. It's a toxin, so it's up to our bodies to
fight it,
detox it. Yeah, so like the liver. Actually, oh, that's a really good point. I did forget this. The body can actually produce antibodies to fight the Botox, which then can render your Botox like null and void. So then, I know. So this is like your body knows.
Your body's saying,
what
don't do
are
it.
you doing? Stop doing this to me. So absolutely. I mean, it is like, come on, like think about what you're putting in your body.
That's as ill.
And it's like, and this, I'm digressing all over the place here. But it's kind of like, this is what really blows my mind. And like I said, I'm not here to judge.
Sorry, it's like drinking poison and then just vomiting it straight out. Your body's rejected it.
Yeah, your body
body's
does
literally
reject
just
it,
tried to get rid of it.
But then that's really interesting. What I find curious and is you have people that are very much, my body is a temple, I would do this, I will eat only this and only organic, really look after their bodies, exercise. And then when it comes to the face, it's like a separate entity. It's like all bets are off. Yeah. Let's just put it in. Doesn't matter. Let's just put. And I'm a bit like, what? I don't get it. And then you've also got a lot of pro-agers. The same, they're promoting. They think aging should be a positive thing. It shouldn't be vilified, which it is, and we can talk about that after. It should be a positive thing for women, and yet they clearly have Botox and fillers. I mean, perhaps I shouldn't say.
No, say it. Say it.
But I was once told by a pro-age influencer that I should dye my hair because my grey makes me look too old.
That doesn't. What?
Yeah, a pro-ager told me to dye my hair because the grey makes me look old.
So she's not really what she claims to be. You're not really a pro-ager influencer.
But this is the contradictions that are clearly going on in people's mindsets. It's kind of like, well, do I want to grow old gracefully, or actually do I want to tweak it? And listen, then, either decision is your decision.
What that says to me, if you're being approached and told that suggests to me that this person, it's just their job, it's not what they truly believe.
Perhaps, but knowing their kind of social media, watching their social media status, they are all about their health and well-being and having a good quality of an older age.
But then how can you?
I don't know.
That's a bit of a mental derangement, because it doesn't go hand in hand. Dye your hair, that's the opposite. Fill your face with whatever, that's the opposite. It's literally the absolute opposite. I feel like there's people are genuinely losing the ability to think like rationally or logically, because that logically makes no sense.
Yeah, but it's because people are scared of aging, particularly women. I mean, okay, there are men as well, but they're scared of aging. It's I was speaking to some of my older clients who were saying that getting older as a woman, you sometimes feel that you're irrelevant, and also women in the workplace kind of feel threatened with the younger. I mean, I don't know if perhaps that's just a younger person rather than a younger looking person. Yeah. So
I'll just go and interject there, because the only thing I think that's the complete opposite to reality. In reality, older men probably feel more useless, because a man's role is to protect the protector, the provider. You're meant to be the strong one, and as you get older, you get weaker. So a man, as he gets older, loses his actual ability to defend his family, protect his family. So a man probably feels more useless, whereas a woman, her whole role is to nurture, even as a mum, and then you become a nan. So even as a woman gets older, you are still a nurturing
pivotal
woman. You're pivotal. The dad, the granddad and all that, you have just got weaker, and like you're less. Someone breaks in the house now, it's going to be your son or your grandson that goes to protect the family. So I'd feel like it was the opposite way around.
Yeah, I think it's more.
But men don't complain.
But I think it's more to do with how they look.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
I was kind of told that there are some clients who just don't like lines. They just don't like lines, and and I've even had clients tell me stories about they'll be at lunch with a friend, for example, and a friend will say, "Oh, you need Botox around your eyes because I can see lines when you're talking." It's just.
Okay, well, I've got to ask. Right? So, this is the thing. It sounds more something that is akin to women rather than a man. I'm sure a man never can.
Yeah, 100%. They're doing it for other women.
Yeah,
they're not doing it for men.
That's nothing to do with men.
It's not for men. We don't care. We want you to look normal.
Yeah, because this is what I'm trying to figure out. What is it about lines and aging that women are not happy with?
I'll tell you what I've seen. I've been in a restaurant, and I was sitting at the table, and there was a young girl with her boyfriend sitting at a table opposite, and she was eating her food, but she was. it's like her lips were sore. They weren't sore, but the way she was, and the way she was trying to spoon the food into her mouth. Yeah. I couldn't stop watching.
Yeah. That kappa.
Is that because she's, and when people they don't want to laugh because they don't want.
Yeah. That's how you get the crow's feet, isn't it? Like from laughter. That's probably the best lines you can have there, because it means that you smile a lot. When you smile a lot, you get crow's feet. Yeah. So anyone with crow's feet there, that's a happy person.
Well, that's probably because she had filler in her lips, and it kind of like you lose the little bit of sensation.
Okay.
And also,
that's our second subject. We're not going to talk about it.
No, but I'm sorry. But she may have also had Botox in this muscle here called the masseter muscle, which it's actually the strongest muscle in the body because it clamps your jaw down tight. She may have had Botox there, which can affect the mobility of your jaw.
I was going to say, how do you chew if you put it to sleep?
No. Well, you're not putting it. Well, if you overdo it, that can happen.
What a world, eh?
But no, they don't render it.
People pay for this. They don't pay for the privilege of this.
Oh God.
They don't render it completely unusable. But the masseter muscle should not be paralysed. I don't care if people say, "Oh, you should have it done with ultrasound so we can see exactly where we're injecting." No, you're still putting Botox in the muscle. You're rendering that muscle unable to do its job as it should. And when you weaken this muscle, one of the knock-on effects is it actually weakens this lower part of your face. So you can get like jowling, that kind of. Yeah. So that's. But there's also been some interesting studies on Botox, and when you render a muscle, not only does it shrink. When you paralyze the muscle, not only does it shrink and atrophy and weaken, but also we rely on that muscle being able to contract for two purposes. One is to the friction it creates against your bone, it allows the bone to do something called remodeling. Okay, so your bone, like every part of your body, every system in your body is made up of millions of cells, and they're constantly being broken down and replaced. And as we get older, that slows down. And when it comes to bone, with your bone remodeling, if your bone's not able to do that as successfully as it should be able to, we get something called bone regression, which is when the bone
is that like when you get that cure, like that underbite like whatever it is?
But it kind of shrinks back. So you've got to be careful in that respect for your bone. And also the other reason as to why muscles are meant to move is because the body's so clever in design. There's a system called the lymphatic system. I don't know if you know.
Heard that word.
Something to do with drainage, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's to do with fluid balance in the body, but it's also like an integral part of your immune system. Okay, so it carries your immune cells around the body as well as the blood. But so it is an important part of your immunity. And now it's really cleverly designed. The vessels that hold this lymph fluid, these vessels are designed to lie across your muscles, because unlike the blood, they do not have heart to pump it around. So it relies on your muscles contracting to push the lymph so we can drain it, because the lymph also carries lots of toxins in it as well. We need to get that out, drain it through the lymph nodes and get it out and away from your tissue cells. So when your muscles can't contract, you can't move this lymphatic fluid as you should. So one thing that women are noticing is they get sort of fluid building up in their faces, particularly around their eyes or here. And it's because they've had Botox and the muscles can't, well, that's one of the reasons. And then the fluid can't move away because their muscles can't contract.
So it's literally stuck there.
Yeah. And there's, I mean, okay, there's an issue as well with filler, but I'll talk about that when we do
Can
filler.
I ask, right, so now you've got all this stuff in your face. Is there any pain involved? What's the sensation? I mean, do you have any sensation?
I don't know because I've never had it done. But I think yes, I believe you can still have. Yes, you do still have feeling in your face, but yeah, it's just the sad thing is.
No, sorry, I was referring to you said that excess fluid and the build up.
Oh, okay.
So is that
It can be quite uncomfortable, yeah.
Okay,
it can be quite can be uncomfortable rather than painful. But just.
But it'd be sorry again.
It's okay.
It's obvious to the person that there's something there.
Yeah.
You look in the mirror.
Yes, they can see. Also, when I just wanted to go back to this neurotransmitter that tells your muscles to move. That issue with the woman you said who couldn't move and was shaking.
It's sad to see.
Yeah, it also this acetylcholine, this neurotransmitter also tells your involuntary muscles when to work, not when to work because they're working constantly. So involuntary muscles, two types. We have smooth and we have cardiac, and they are not under our control. Our brain is just telling them when to work and how to work. So basically, cardiac is your heart muscles that tells it to pump. Your smooth muscles are your visceral muscles, like for your digestion, etc., etc. So and it's having an impact on those. So then you've got to think to yourself, well, what is it doing to my smooth muscle? What could Botox potentially be doing to my cardiac muscles as well? So this is
sounds
something
like
else.
a seriously dangerous situation that people are putting themselves in.
Yeah,
it's doing quite the opposite to what it's supposed to be.
It sounds like you're paying for it to do the opposite of what they say it does.
It's doing damage to yourself.
Well, the thing is, it's like I said, it's about you to research it and then make an informed decision as to whether or not you want to do this. But what I'm talking about potentially could happen. So you've got to make that decision. And, even as we're talking about it now, there will still be people who have this information that will still do it.
Who popularised
the vanity.
Because when I think you can say.
Oh, I don't know. So there's a group of sisters.
Just be careful what you say.
Yeah, there's a group of sisters, let's just say that have really, they have really put the spotlight on having these type of procedures.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
everyone knows who we're talking about.
Let's just say that.
Okay.
And just very quickly, just to say that a decrease, so remember Botox decreases this neurotransmitter which is called acetylcholine. Now decreased acetylcholine is actually really important. It's important to remember this because this is actually associated with Alzheimer's. Okay, and just going back to the health part of Botox, just like a little final thing on that part is that Botox also, it decreases the specific type of neuron that is responsible for our cognitive behaviour. So Botox can affect your cognitive behaviour. And just to sort of clarify exactly what comes under the heading of cognitive function. So this can be predominantly impaired by Botox. So it's things like all your intellectual functions. So it's your comprehension, production of language, your perception, your attention, thought, imagination, intelligence, knowledge and memory, decision making, your judgment, evaluation, reasoning, problem solving.
Are you listening to this? And the ones that look like that, are you paying attention to this?
And it can really anxiety as well. So you know
And they're all paranoid about how they look and anxious and stupid
Yeah.
for doing it.
Why is that though? So you think that it's
Not for men.
It's not.
It's not for men. Men don't like it. I can't.
Oh.
Men like women to look like women and have expressive faces and like even that whole resting bitch face. Men don't really like that. Like smile, love. Like
Do you know I was having a conversation with a client, and okay, so I've got to be careful here. And there was a film playing while we were doing the treatment, and it was a Glenn Close film, the Bunny Boiler film.
Oh, Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction, that's it. And because that's 80s, right? Yeah.
yeah.
And I was saying, oh my God, don't you just love an 80s movie? Because you can actually see particularly the actresses, you can see their faces like really showing what they're feeling in their role. And the person was like, oh, really? Because they like a bit of Botox. And I just thought, oh, God. But anyway.
Slight dig.
Slight dig, yeah. But that's another thing. You know, like, there's a lot of actresses now, and you watch them, you think, well, I can't invest in you. Well, I feel like that.
Yeah.
I can't invest in you because you're not really fully portraying that pain or hurt. Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, it looks soulless.
Yeah.
It's a lot of information you've given us today.
Yeah, so...
What's the one, I don't think, because we were separating the Botox from the fillers, I'm pretty sure this is fillers after what we've been talking about. You know when they stick it in their cheeks? No, and the cheeks look like hamster.
That's filler.
That's filler, isn't it? Yeah.
That's filler.
What is that about?
I know. I mean...
I've seen some, like, out here, it looks like tennis balls in the top part of the cheeks. I'm like, what are you trying to look like?
I know, it's,
You're
again...
saving this for another
That's another one.
We'll save this for the next one, because
that's fillers.
there's a lot of information on fillers. But yeah, I think it's sad. I know I keep saying this. I think it's sad that, you know, rather than appreciating and applauding the wisdom and, you know, that comes with aging and that beautiful look that comes with aging as well, that we're actually vilifying that and normalizing these kind of like frozen looks, this mannequin-esque look. It's a bit like, you know, when you go, someone's having a 50th and you photocopy their faces and everyone wears their face but only the eyes and the lips move. That's what we're turning into.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, actually no, I've just remembered, you mentioned something about people's faces, and it's not for men, because men, that's for you, is not a good look. However, this was an interesting point, and I'm not saying this is all teenage boys, but one of my clients was saying that her 15-year-old actually thinks that's an attractive look.
Maybe a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah, but then what does that?
This day and age.
Yeah, but then what?
Right,
but then
15-year-olds 20 years ago.
And
we
then
did
us
not
15.
we did not think that.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is these 15-year-olds are going to become adult men. So is this what they are going to want to see? This kind of caricature look.
Yeah. The thing with it is, because anytime I've ever thought about like plastic surgery, facial filler, Botox, whatever, like originally it used to just be called plastic surgery. I don't know what they used to do if there's any plastic involved, but what I used to think of would be traditional Hollywood, like an A-list, I don't know, like Audrey Hepburn type, A-list, top of the game, and as they get older and they might get, you know, little thing, it started off like the women used to just, I don't know, just little
a few lines.
take a little, that's how it used to be, like Hollywood, and it's because she wants to still be on camera or what, but it's not completely changing her face. And then over the years, it's sort of morphed into this strange, like we say, young girls doing it, but if you're under 35 years old and you do anything like this, you instantly look over 35.
I know.
If you're 20 and you do it, you don't look young. You look over 35 now, because the initial thought is it's for people to look younger. And when you're young and you do it, now I'm just going to presume you're older, because you're trying to look. A 20-year-old now looks like a 35-year-old.
Yeah. The sad thing is they are aging their faces, and I'm really glad you brought this up, because I did forget this. Now I was talking to, I love my clients, can you tell? I have great conversations, honestly, every day. I could write a fabulous book on conversations with my clients, I really could. But I was talking to one, and she used to work with a really prominent plastic surgeon called Dr. Grover, or Mr. Grover, sorry if I've got that wrong. And I've heard this before from other plastic surgeons, that the worst thing a woman can do to her face is to have Botox and fillers, and also something called threads, which is another subject, because they will actually just age your skin. So the Botox will reduce the strength of your muscles and can't hold your facial skin up, and the fillers will almost stretch and move the skin away from the planes that it sits onto.
Wow.
And so what happens is you kind of get this kind of like loose, your face basically drops. And there was a really interesting, and I can say this because, okay, so please don't judge me, but I am partial to a little bit of the Real Housewives, okay? So,
A little bit.
So there is one lady, she's British, her name is Caroline Stansbury, I think I've said it right. And she was on like a reunion show, and the host commented on how well she looks and how well she's healing after her full facelift. And then it came out, and then it came about a few moments later that she was only 48, and he said to her, or 45, I can't remember now, he said, aren't you a little bit young to be having a full facelift? And she said, well, the problem was I started having Botox and fillers in my 20s, then didn't like how my face was starting to look, and that's more to do with fillers as well, but we'll talk about that after, how they migrate. She said, I didn't quite like how my face was looking, so she said, so I had it all dissolved, and she said, and my face literally dropped, so I had to have a facelift. Now this takes me back to the point about this Mr. Grover. This
Literally lifted her face up and put it back on.
Yeah, that's it. So Mr. Grover was telling, he was working with one of my clients, and he was saying to her, they're now seeing, and there was an article as well in one of the newspapers, the women who are approaching plastic surgeons for facelifts, the age is becoming younger and younger.
Oh, wow.
Even in their 30s, women are looking to have facelifts. And because of the issue they're having with their face just dropping from Botox and fillers, there's direct link there. And he was saying the problem is, he said, it's such a traumatic surgery to have done, facelift, that you really shouldn't be having it done below the age of 58.
Wow.
He said, if you have it done under the age of 58, he said, it's like taking a sledgehammer to a walnut. So this is my client telling me this conversation she'd had with this plastic surgeon. So so you are opening up a big problem potentially. So this is why,
This is crazy.
Yeah, but this is why I thought it was important, that we did this, so that people can really think about it and really research it, and hopefully they don't go down that rabbit hole.
So what do you think this is? A cultural thing? Is this just a Western thing? This is obviously, we know it's America. Like, is this just the West? Why is this going on?
Yeah, it is predominantly because it's predominantly a Western problem. It's about, and listen, most ethnicities, most cultures will do it who live in the West. It's not about.
So there's no particular.
No.
It's a Western culture thing.
It's a Western culture thing, and it's women will often say they want to look their best. They don't want to see any lines.
It's cross-sexual as well.
Yeah. Men and women, but it's it's predominantly women at the moment, but it's this kind of like this eternal youth that they want to have. It's
But it's the opposite. You do it, and then it's like it's almost like a curse. The elixir of life, but then once you take it, it actually starts aging you instead.
Yeah, this is it. But it does, and this is the problem with Botox. You're told to have Botox done now to stop yourselves from getting wrinkles, but actually what you're doing is you're wasting away that muscle tissue, so your face is just going to drop and
you need a facelift.
And then you're going to need a facelift. So it's, and so when people try to, so please, you 20 somethings and your early 30 somethings, please be aware that this potentially could happen, and just please make more informed decisions. And there is no such thing as baby Botox, it's just smaller amounts of Botox, but as your years go past, your units will come more and more, and you'll be having it done over longer periods of time, which is going to cause you problems with the laxity of your muscle and skin.
Do you know anyone that's done anything like this and gone home to their husband and he's like, who the fuck are you? What has happened to you? What's going on? I don't like that.
There are lots.
I'd be like that. If Lisa came home looking like that,
Yeah.
I might pack my bag.
No, there are lots of husbands who do not like, lots of men who do not like that look. So that does deter. I'm not saying that a man should tell you what to do. That's not what I'm talking about. But it does deter women from having it done.
But if you're married to someone and then they go and do that, it's like, well, that's not who I married.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
I didn't marry that person. I don't know who that is. It looks like E.T.
Yeah. I mean, there's a wonderful, and I really wish I'd remembered her name. Maybe you can put it on the end of your thingy. There was a wonderful pro-age influencer who has stopped doing Botox and filler, and she's got this wonderful grey hair. She's lovely, and she was kind of telling her story as why she decided to stop doing what she was doing. And I just wish we could see more of that, because you'll also see as well, there's a really weird, like, it's like them and us culture, those that do and those that don't, and you'll have those that do, like injectors and everything. Oh, we'll talk about regulation actually. So you've got these like influencers who are injectors who will say, and they really mock, ew, I want to grow gracefully. They really mock those women that want to grow old gracefully. And I suppose likewise you have those that want to grow old gracefully that bash those that do have it done. And I just kind of think, but like I said, I do strongly believe that most women that are having it done don't realise the risks associated with it as well. So yeah.
Has anyone ever got in trouble for like, not really disclosing the actual risks and harm caused to young girls or anything, like any doctors? Or you probably don't know, probably say.
I actually don't know, but the problem is in this country is there's no regulation.
None at all?
No regulation.
So I could go and get a kit and just start making moolah?
Yeah.
And we've got some silicone in here or something.
You're thinking fillers, silicone.
Caught some silicone, that seems like they're whacking anything in them. What's over here?
All right,
Yeah,
listen, we've been going on for a little while now. Could we end on a happy note?
Can we not just quickly talk about regulations?
Go ahead.
Is that all right?
Yeah, let's talk about regulation.
Because this is important as well. Because you will often, I wholeheartedly believe there should be regulation, okay? But you will always have people who will highlight other people's work. So injectors will highlight other people's work of injecting and will say, oh, look how bad this looks, they've overdone the Botox or the fillers. And it's because there needs to be more regulation, because this clearly hasn't been done by a doctor. But it's a bit like, well, hang on a minute. Yes, I agree. But there are also doctors and medics, like nurses and dentists, who are administering Botox and fillers, who are not really that ethical, or not really particularly that good at what they're doing, and can overdo it. So if you look at like celebs, like, I know Courtney Cox, I believe she's had hers dissolved now, but Courtney Cox, Jennifer Aniston, Madonna, they didn't spend their coin at the local lady round the corner in the back of her garage. They went to doctors to have that done to their faces. So you've got to kind of like stop pointing the finger that only injectors are these incredible people that know what they're doing. Yeah. Okay, so I did want to sort of highlight
That's
that.
what Madonna looked like.
No, don't.
This is what Madonna looked like. See that? That's the latest picture of her.
Yeah, it's
allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's what she allegedly looks like.
Yeah.
All right. So
on a positive note, there are ways that you can maintain the health of your muscles. There are ways that you can actually help your skin to produce more collagen and elastin that gives you that nice plump, dewy, healthy look. And you can do this holistically. You can do it through what you eat. You can also do it with specific facial massage techniques. There are other procedures like microneedling, which are really effective on boosting collagen. So there are ways.
Is that them little stabby thing?
Yeah, but not home ones, please. No, it's like a machine. It's like a pen, and it's a medical grade pen that we use.
What's he talking about?
They're like little stamps.
Feels horrible.
They're like little needles, and you stamp your skin.
I see one lying around. It's like some woman beauty thing. I was like, oh, that's horrible. Like, why put that on your face? Like, this is what women do. Stab. I was like, ow.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't promote those home kits. I
Right.
don't promote those. But the little wounds that they create, the skin's response is to produce a surge of collagen to heal those little wounds, and so that collagen then helps to maintain the health and firmness, suppleness of the skin. So yeah, so there are ways we can do it, and we can do it in a better way to your health.
How do you
better
think
health
it
of
should
your
be
skin.
regulated if it was like? Because obviously everything in our country, once you're 18, you're 18. So if regulation came in, it's not like they could be.
It's more regulation to the people that are administering it.
But an 18-year-old would still be able to go and get it.
Yeah.
Once you're 18, you're 18.
Unfortunately,
18's
yes.
the minimum now.
It always has been. It always has been. The regulation is more to do about who's injecting rather than the age of the person. That listen, there are still unscrupulous people that will do it to under. Oh my God, the pageant thing we were watching. So you know the American pageants with the little
with the little
girls?
kids.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
There was a mum. She was being interviewed by somebody, and
Yes.
the mum actually buys Botox off the internet. Now there are hopes.
Not for the kid.
Yeah, and she injects it into, and also there's another issue with, not the real thing type Botox as well, but she injects the little 8-year-old.
8 years old.
Yeah, to stop.
That's child abuse.
I know.
That's child abuse. Straight up child abuse. Go jail.
I know.
That's child abuse.
But this is what is happening, and okay, whilst that might be just a teeny percentage of people doing it, they're still doing it, and this is alarming.
A small percentage of a big number is a lot of people.
Yeah, true. That's very true, actually.
I think we need to wind it up.
Okay, thank you. But can I please again say, do the research. It's up to you, and make a better informed decision before you decide to do anything.
Well, as you can see, it's a big subject, so we're going to have to come back to this, I do believe. Would you reckon?
Mm-hmm.
Because you covered quite a lot of information there, and it's quite a bit, and some of it's gone in and come straight back out. So I think you're going to have to regurgitate it and go over some, and
we'll talk about fillers next time.
Yes.
Yeah, fillers is interesting. 'Cause that's the one that really changes their face shape.
It does, and that's.
Oh, stop there, please.
Oh.
We're going to go again. We're leaving you. See you on the next one.